Denny Hamlin will not race in Mexico City this weekend. Let's get everyone up to speed on the latest breaking news. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. NASCAR drivers, media, teams, personnel are traveling to Mexico City today, or at least are trying to get to Mexico City today. Technical issues have unfortunately grounded a couple of flights. Reportedly, Haas, Trackhouse, other team members are searching for alternative options to get to Mexico City in time for tomorrow's full-length Cup Series practice. Why does it seem like every time NASCAR tries to do something new, something bold, the universe gets in their way? The literal storm of the century nearly washing away the inaugural Chicago street race, the final year of the LA Coliseum being forced to move up a full day due to weather, and now unexpected travel delays ahead of the first Cup Series race at Mexico City. Thankfully, everyone is safe. Hopefully, everyone is able to get to Mexico City safely and on time. One person we know will not be making the trip south of the border is driver Denny Hamlin. Denny released this statement this evening saying, "We are happy to announce the birth of our son. Everyone is doing well. My main priority is to be here at home for Jordan and our family over the next few days when she is able to go home and we transition to life as a family of 5. Yes, first off, congratulations to Denny and Jordan. Third child, first son. That's very exciting. Great to hear that the mother and child seem to be doing well. But secondly, Joe Gibbs Racing confirmed that Denny Hamlin will not drive the number 11 Camry this weekend. Instead, Ryan Truex, not Ryan Truex Jr., get it right, the younger brother of Martin Truex Jr., Joe Gibbs Racing sim driver, he will race the number 11 in Denny's place. Side note, before we focus on Hamlin, this is a very cool opportunity for Ryan Truex, who, let me pull up his numbers, has not run a Cup Series race since, is this right? 2014? Yeah, 2014. BK Racing was his last NASCAR Cup Series start. He made it 68 laps into the Chicagoland summer race that season. Wow. Yeah, again, we'll talk about Denny in a moment, but this is a very cool opportunity for Ryan Truex, who has made spot starts in the Xfinity Series for JGR the past few years. He's won a few races. Dover, he has tamed the monster a couple of different times. Again, he has been Joe Gibbs Racing's sim driver, sort of standby reserve driver the past few years. He's been a huge part of tuning their setups week in, week out. So to reward Ryan Truex, the grinder, with a NASCAR Cup Series start, that is, objectively speaking, a cool story. Circumstances, forget about them. This is a cool opportunity for Ryan Truex to fill in Mexico City. I genuinely hope Truex has a really good run this weekend. But back to Denny Hamlin. According to Joe Gibbs Racing's official statement, the baby was actually born yesterday, Wednesday, June 11th, which is actually kind of cool, 6'11". If you listen to Denny's podcast this week, he said that 6'11" was the original name for 23XI Racing before they settled on 23XI, as the normies like to say. 6 championships for Michael Jordan, obviously driver 11, makes sense. So cool that his son gets to share that 6'11" birthday. That's pretty neat. But yes, the baby was born yesterday on Wednesday. The race isn't until Sunday. I'm not here to spark some paternity leave debate. I think anyone who's just had a baby, male or female, should be excused from work to be with their child 5 days after delivery. But a lot of fans are going to ask about the waiver situation. Does this constitute a situation where Denny gets to keep his playoff points? Will he remain playoff eligible? Put the rulebook aside for a moment. I don't care what the rulebook says. It would be a really bad look optically for NASCAR to remove one of their star drivers from playoff eligibility over the birth of his son, especially when said driver is currently locked in a heated lawsuit with the sanctioning body. That would look quite prejudiced, I would say. The optics would be abysmal. But put that aside, the rulebook states that birth of a child is an acceptable reason to miss a NASCAR Cup Series event and get your playoff waiver. Retain your playoff points. Denny Hamlin, thanks to that win at Michigan last week, has now racked up the second most playoff points in the NASCAR Cup Series. I cannot imagine a universe where NASCAR would strip him of his playoff eligibility as a result of him sitting out Mexico City. Now, that being said, the reason I bring up the Wednesday birth date, besides it being 6/11, and that's pretty cool, That is to say, if they were racing at Darlington this weekend, if this was Southern 500 weekend, I think Denny would race. Couple of reasons. One, obviously, it's much closer to home, so if something were to happen at home, Denny could quickly get there. International travel, dealing with customs, extra steps involved. It's a slow, tedious process, difficult to get home in case, God forbid, of an emergency. So I think this being an international race weekend, that variable also would play a factor. But also, we talked about this earlier in the week, Denny Hamlin's road course numbers are quite bad in recent years. He is not a good road course racer. 18 starts at road courses in the next gen car, 1 top 10 finish. That's it. Yeah, I put together this graphic the other day and it has not changed in the last 48 hours. He still has not won a road course race in nearly 9 years. So that is to say, if this weekend's race was in their backyard at Darlington, crown jewel on the line, I don't know for a fact, I guess I shouldn't make this assumption, but I imagine there's a much better chance Denny would still compete. But this weekend being a road course, the difficult travel involved, I think it made Denny's decision to stay home, be with his family, a lot easier. I think he's making the right decision. It sucks, of course, for the Denny Hamlin fans that are going to Mexico City hoping to see their guy race. Now they won't get to. One of NASCAR's most outspoken, recognizable stars won't compete. That is a bummer for the industry by and large, but it's no different than when, star NBA players or WNBA players like Caitlin Clark has been injured for the last 2-3 weeks, and you've seen Indiana Fever ticket prices plummet as a result. You go see the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark's not playing, that kind of sucks. Happens all the time in other sports is what I'm trying to say. I think fans will be quick to forgive Denny missing one race because of the birth of his son that week. Anyway, I don't have much else to say, just my instant reaction to this news. Denny Hamlin will not race at Mexico City this weekend. Good luck to Ryan Truex. Maybe Denny just, an extra few days to study for Pocono. That's his playground after all. I can't imagine there'll be a lot of extra studying going on the next few days. I think Denny's got other responsibilities pulling at his attention right now. Congratulations to Denny Hamlin, to Jordan, to the entire Hamlin family, adding a 5th. That's very exciting. I imagine NASCAR will grant the playoff waiver. This should not be a story past this week. Good luck to Ryan Truex, the rest of the 11 team this weekend at Mexico City. We'll be back tomorrow. Other news to talk about ahead of NASCAR's first Cup Series International race weekend in literally decades. That's all for this one. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll catch up with you again real soon.